Hello, good evening and welcome back to In the Know, brought to you by the Racing Post and Coral, back for a Friday night preview ahead of the Coral Eclipse, of course, 1976. Coral started their sponsorship for the big race, the Battle of the Generations, over 10 furlongs tomorrow, and we've got a pretty tasty renewal on ratings, possibly the best in the last 15 years. An intriguing contest indeed to get stuck into tomorrow afternoon at one of the UK's finest racecourses, and of course 6 more races on the card as well to get well and truly stuck into, with a variety of handicaps, including a couple of nice sprints for one of our pundits who'll be chomping at the bits to get stuck into that. But hopefully we can direct you in the way of a few winners, or at the very least we can give you a bit of information that will help you make your mind up about what to get involved in at Sandown on Saturday afternoon. And if you are watching at home right now, it is live and interactive, so let us know what you think about Sandown's card on Saturday. Of course, we've already had a card at Sandown this afternoon, so there are a few clues about how the track is going to ride tomorrow, and the weather looks to be holding up as it stands. My name is Ross Brierley. I'm joined as ever by a fine lineup of pundits and analysts to go through that Sandown card tomorrow. And luckily, we've got Mr. Paul Keeley sat in the studio to my left. This is your kind of car. You love a bit of Sandown. You'll be there tomorrow.
I love Sandown. I mean, if the Sandown's on a Saturday, I'm invariably there.
Yes.
But this is the one day of the year. Well, that and Tingle Creek Day, I'd say, are the 2 days of the year not to miss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love Sandown. I love the Eclipse meeting. Cracking card. Top quality racing, loading up the front. A few handicaps at the back. What more could you want?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a good renewal tomorrow. Again, people always look at if only we'd had 9, 10, 11 runners, but quality-wise,
you got the right.
ones
You know, you pretty much got all the ones you'd want to have. I mean, the one disappointment, you know, particularly for me, because I backed to Manly Post, was Real World getting a cough. But you know, basically, you know, we basically got the best of the ones that were entered at the 5-day stage. I think it's a cracking heat. Yeah,
okay, and it is of course the first sign about how good that classic generation are, because they currently are looking pretty good. Let's go to Tom Siegel, sat at home. Good evening to you, Tom. A lovely card at Sandown tomorrow. Are you licking your lips in anticipation?
Yeah, like Kiel, Sandown was my local track when I was growing up, so I've been to God knows how many Eclipse. Can't make it tomorrow, unfortunately. But really looking forward to it. It's one of my favourite days, like Kiel says. The Eclipse, the first clash between the generations. It's always a great race, and everything points to it being another good one tomorrow. Really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, Tom, you keep switching these angles. We are slightly to your right over here. There we go. Hello. Look over. There we go.
There it is.
Hey.
I keep the camera's different from my computer. So I have to look at the camera over there, my computer, which is over there. It's really confusing.
There you go, Tom. You need to get yourself a production team at home. Surely you've established yourself.
Yeah, surely. You have to speak to the boys.
Yeah.
You can come and sit in my back garden rather than sitting over there.
I mean, we're happy to do a live broadcast from your back garden, Tom. That's absolutely fine. Maybe for Glorious Goodwood or something. But Simon Clare sat at home, definitely excited about the action. In fact, are you sat at home, Simon? Have you gone home, or are you? What are you doing?
Yes, I only live. I live 20 minutes or so, or 25 minutes from Sandown, so it's a local track. Love it. Obviously, you know, ever since I joined Coral in 1997, 25 years I've done at Coral. And Pilsudski won the first, beating Bosrasham when Bosrasham got stuck in the pocket with Kieran Fallon on board. And ever since then, it's been a great race. I've been lucky enough to work on it, work with the Sandown team, seen some great horses win, the likes of Giants Causeway, Daylami, see the Stars Enable. But I have done, tomorrow's race is a really high quality renewal. I've gone back to the start of the century, and in terms of average ratings, the average official ratings of the participants is the highest quality Eclipse since 2000, and I've haven't gone back any further. So it probably stacks up as one of the best renewals of the Coral Eclipse ever. And we were disappointed not to have the O'Brien runners, and Dubai Honours gone for the Grand Prix de Saint-Cloud, but that's because they're looking at this field and thinking, well, we need to find softer options. We don't think we can beat them. And that's the way it is, isn't it? You can't just, a top-class field will scare off some horses. And I think it's a brilliant Eclipse. I'm really excited about it. And to have that French-trained horse, Vidani, we've only had 2 French runners since '99. So to have a top-class French 3-year-old who's won the Classic, supplement as well, so that's money on top of into the prize money. That's really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is. It's a cracker. Yeah, I went back. I kind of thought 2007 was pretty good, and even then it was, authorised or sent off odds on. That Not No Keto race was a bit of a cracker, wasn't it? But yeah, then you have to go back to Giant's Causeway, and remarkably, I was looking at this. Native Trail has either matched or bettered Giant's Causeway's form coming into this race 3 times already. And obviously, you get a bit of rose tinted glasses, don't you, with horses from a certain era, and whether the ratings are bang on right is a debate to be had as well. But the fact that he's done that 3 times tells you how good this is.
It's an exceptionally good race. I always say, Simon, you're still a spring chicken. I got 35 years up at the Racing Post last month.
Wow.
And Toto won the first of his 2 eclipses the year I was on the Racing Post.
Do we? When do you get the statue?
I don't know. It's got to be 50, isn't it?
It's got to be 50.
Yeah.
I don't suppose I'll last that long.
No, fair enough.
Well, we've got an In the Know special specifically about that, actually, Paul. To make 50.
Yeah. What's I dread to think how they price that up. But
I don't even want to say the price. Yeah.
You're more of a good time rather than a long time guy, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think you'd have to enhance the price by a lot to get people interested.
Yeah. Okay, please. Maybe that should be the poll on the YouTube chat. But let's get stuck into the card tomorrow. I'm not going to ask Tom what he thinks. But we've got a sprint over 5 furlongs to kick off proceedings at Father 150 tomorrow, the Coral Charge. Group 3 here with Mit Bahi heading the betting at odds of 11-4. Rarsel is 3-1, Equilateral 11-2, Nymphadora 15-2, Tippy Toes at 9s, Arecibo at 10s, Method at 10s as well. Existent is an 11-1 shot. And is the outsider of the field here. Now, until last year, this was a half-decent race to be following up-and-coming 3-year-old sprinters, and there are a few in this season contest, including the favourite Mit Bahi, but you have progressive types like Rarsel, and you also have horses like Equilateral who bring class into it, and of course, bring that nature strip form into it as well. So you've got a clash of generations, not only in the Eclipse, but also in the opening sprint, Paul.
Yeah, it's a very good race. I mean, Mit Bahi's obviously got the course of distance form, having won here last time, won quite well from Living the Dream. Rassel's won that good race at Beacon Dragon Symbol at Haydock. Equilateral off a long break, finishing 5th in the King's Stand. That's a really, really, really good run. But I'm still going for one of the outsiders here. I think Method is potentially overpriced.
Okay.
He's one of those horses that has, not delivered on his promise really, because he went off, I think he was second favourite for the Middle Park a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. Saddle slipped then, but I mean, he's had, he hasn't needed an excuse to run badly since, like, you know what I mean. But on his return as a 4-year-old, I thought he shaped really, really well. He was just ridiculously keen, pulled his way to the front in the early stages, but he had all of them rowing away behind him with a couple of furlongs to go, and I think he may have just become pretty fast. Now, if the freshness has run out of him, and he can maybe get a lead on the rail from Tippy Toes, if that one breaks, because that can miss the break every now and again. But I think he's going to run well at a decent price. I think it's a really tight heat. I think on potential, even though he's 4, I still think he's got the potential to turn into a good sprinter, and a stiff 5 might just be what he wants.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's less run over 5, 3 lengths behind Winter Power, so, I mean...
Yeah, on soft ground as well, which I don't think he particularly wants.
But he was sent off favourite for that.
Yeah, he was sent off favourite for that. So, yeah, he showed an awful lot. His first 2 runs as a juvenile were really good when he won that, and especially when he won that race at Newbury, and he really quickened away. Hasn't backed that up yet. But I think I saw enough to think he's, at those sort of prices, 10-1, I think he's worth a chance.
OK, 10-1 then, a selection for Paul Keeley. Tom, is there method in Paul's madness?
Yeah, there's definitely some method in the madness. I agree with him entirely about the shape of the race. I'm not convinced Mit Bahi and Rarsel should be that far ahead of the rest in the market. I didn't think it was a great race Mit Bahi won here last time. This is much better. Not sure the Rarsel race was that good either. I think he's going to get the race run to suit. I think they'll go quite fast. I thought Equilateral form was the best. But, like Keels, I thought one of the big price ones. I went for Tippy Toes rather than Method. I just thought that she was really unlucky the last time. She's missed the break, really. But if you watched the Royal Ascot race last time, I think she got hampered for about a furlong and a half. She was cantering in behind the leaders, Ruthin, the American horse. And she just got taken back to almost last after about a furlong, for about a furlong. And then she just stayed on nicely again to be only beaten about 4 lengths. I think stiff 5 furlongs is exactly what she wants. She needs to break. If she breaks and gets the rail, I don't know if the rail's the advantage it used to be. But 3-year-old fillies have done well in this race. I just thought at the prices, provided she breaks with Sylvester on board and a nice draw, she might be the one. Equilateral would be the danger of the ones at the head of the market, but I get Method too. But I did think that it was quite a nice race for a bet because I wasn't convinced by those at the head of the market.
Okay, there we go then. A couple of selections at slightly bigger prices. And you were saying about 3-year-old fillies. I thought Nymphadora had a bit of a chance as well. She's another one who kind of finds trouble in an empty room, but it might be that 8 box on this Sandown track. I mean, I remember we were there last year, Simon. I remember watching this race live, and pretty much half the field looked like they were going to win at one point before Kane from the Dark scored. And it can get like that, can't it, over 5, especially in decent races at Sandown, where a few of them go off a little bit too quick, and that final furlong produces a bit of a shock. So I'm hoping that Nymphadora might be the last to lunge under William Buick down the centre of the track.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating race, really, because it's always pretty competitive, and yet 5 favourites have won in the last 10 years, which is, a high strike rate, and also quite interesting, 6 3-year-olds have won in the last 10 years, which suggests it does almost suit those sort of progressive 3-year-old sprinters more than the older horses. I mean, that obviously Mick Bahi is favourite and 3-year-old if he goes off favourite, because it's battling away with Russell for that. I think he will. I think he's got a great chance. Nymphadora and Tippy Toes are the other 2 3-year-olds in the race. So, almost on, in trying to sort of work through the race, and some crack. I mean, Equilateral representing that Kingston form. It's great to have him and Arecibo in the race. But on that basis, I just thought Mick Bahi was a solid favourite, and I did think Tippy Toes obviously very unlucky, drawn very well. 1 and 2, the sort of the low draws in those sprints do seem to be a decent place to be. As you say, bizarrely, given how you generally can throw a blanket over a few of them, but at the finish. But so on that base, I thought I'd give myself a couple here: Mick Bahi and Tippy Toes. But a good start to the day. Yeah,
well, I mean, between the lot of us, hopefully we'll at the very least get the TriCast, I think. So, Mick Bahi, 11-4 favourite here. Hello to everyone watching at home. Good evening to Bubba. Equilateral's got absolutely no chance, says Bubba. And then Jonathan Sherritt says Equilateral is the class horse of the race, and 11-2 is way too generous. That's telling you how open this race is, and also how opinionated everyone is when it comes to decent racing on a Saturday, of course. Andy Sim says Mick Bahi just wins, stealing Keels's catchphrases there. And good evening to Mark Smith as well. He says he respects Tom Siegel, a legendary tipster that's picked some big prizes in his time. And I'll read his tips in the Racing Post in the morning. No mention of Keels, though. Unfortunately, so.
Horrible kid.
So there you go. OK, what wins the opener, Tom?
Well, I'm not sure she'll win, but I think she's overpriced Tippy Toes.
OK, Tippy Toes overpriced?
Going for Method.
OK, I'll go for Nymphadora. And Simon?
Well, I'll go for Mick Bahi, but I probably will have a few kid each way on Tippy Toes as well.
OK, there we go. That's pretty much the whole field covered for the opener over at Sandown. The Coral Challenge next up, a mile handicap here, where we have 11 lining up to go to post, and the eye-catcher from the Royal Hunt Cup heading the betting here, the admirable Sinjari, who keeps turning up year after year in these races. One might actually land for him eventually. 11-4 is the favourite here, Sinjari. The 3-year-old Check and Challenge, 5-1, the second favourite. Lion Tower, 11-2. It's talking about turning up in every one of these races. Escobar is back for another bite, 15-2. Tahitian Prince, 9-1. Uzo is 11s. Flying High, 12s. Trayfloor is 14s, and bigger prices the rest. Over to you first for this one, Mr. Siegel. Sinjari, understandably, top of the betting at the Royal Hunt Cup. Looked a good one this year. He was an eye-catcher, flashing home all too late. But not the first, not the fifth, probably not the 10th time we'd said that about Sinjari.
Oh, a bit harsh, Ross. He did win the John Smith's Cup, didn't he, by a long way, when he was trained by William Haggis. He has a big race win to his name. I like the drop back to a mile for the Charlton this year. I think that's what he's been requiring. I once thought he was a certainty in the Cambridgeshire, and he never ran a race. The Ascot run is clearly gives him a massive chance. Track should get a strong pace, sure to go well. I think just 11-4. I think Mr. Keeley Sport, everyone's fun with him earlier in the week, but I think 11-4 is about right. Check and Challenge is interesting if he bounces back, doesn't he? I mean, he obviously ran in the Guineas. and had looked very good at Newcastle, and the form's worked out quite well at Newcastle. And Imperial Fighter's run well a couple of times since, so he could be very well handicapped. Just don't know if he'll handle the turf. He didn't show anything really in the Guineas. So I fully respect Sinjari, but once again, it's not really my job to tell you that a 5-2 favourite's got a chance. I thought there were some down the bottom that had a good chance. I thought Uzo, who likes Sandown, ran very well in a very good time race behind Rebel Territory here earlier in the season. I thought he'd go well, but he came last in the Hunt Cup, or second last, and ran no sort of race last time, so it's a bit worrying. So the two below him in the market, I thought Flying High is just the sort of horse that Andrew Balding might sort of bring a surprise with. He often does it in these type of races, but he finds it hard to win. So the one I ended up was the old boy, Trey Floor, one of Keel's old favourites. Got a good record at Sandown. He won here last year off a £7 higher mark. He ran really well in the Spring Cup from a bad draw at the start of the season. He was £3 or £4 higher that day. And then he went to Thirsk, was it? And ran in the Thirsk Cup, never got a run. He's running two small field for slowly run races since then. That's not his game. He needs a fast run race around Sandown with Sylvester on. He's got all those things. I think Sinjari is definitely, and Check and Challenge, they're classy, probably could win group race type horses, but they're at the head of the market. And if everything dropped right for Trey Floor, I think he's handicapped to go well. And despite being an 8-year-old, he's not really, 8-year-olds aren't really my type of thing. But I thought he might run well, and I thought at 14-1 he was a good each way bet.
Okay, there we go. Trey Floor is 14-1, yeah, and looked a fairly disappointing performance last time out, but I thought that winner, that Dubai Icon, looked a nice type, so that would have been asking a lot for this horse to pick up that front-running unexposed Godolphin winner. Trey Floor is 14-1 then, the outside of the lot. Have we had a few pennies on Sinjari early in the week?
Yeah, I backed him earlier in the week. He's one of those. He was a massive eye catcher at Ascot. I mean, the point being that the four horses have finished ahead of him, all raced in a different group, and he actually wasn't asked for his effort until they'd gone. Like, you know what I mean? And you know, it's obviously when you're split into two groups, you're riding to beat your group, aren't you? Like, you know, and he can't even see what's happened at the other side. But you know, but he's come through. He's actually won by miles, isn't he? On his side, he's, you know, I think Bless Him was the next one to follow him on that side. And you know, if he can repeat that form, I think he'll win. But I mean, I question whether there is going to be that much pace, and that's what worries me. And
there wasn't in this last year. Magical Morning kicked into the home
backed
straight.
him, and that's why I thought if I was having a look at the race now and having another bet, it would be on Flying High.
Okay.
Because he has stalled two, he does go forward. He nearly stole a race at Newbury from the front, which is probably harder to do than it is at Sandown, which can suit front runners. And you know, he doesn't find it very easy to win, but he is progressing slowly but steadily. You know, and I don't think he did much wrong at Newbury. I thought he battled all the way to the line. So I thought if I was having a bet now, it would be an each-way bet on Flying High.
Okay. Flying High then is currently a 12-1 shot here. Wide open contest. Yeah, there can't be that too much pace. Maybe Flying High, maybe Mostawar as well.
Yeah, those were the two. But he's drawn in 10.
Definitely. And Lion Tower, don't you think? Don't you think Lion Tower will go forward?
He could do. He doesn't always.
On the heels
he's on the heels though, and he doesn't always do.
Yeah, I thought Mostawa would definitely go strong. I thought he'd go really strong from the front, but I think that's what they'll do with him.
Well, in that case, Sinjari will win.
There you go. One from the top, one from the bottom. Sinjari is 11-4 shots here for this Coral Challenge. Yeah, there's plenty of Sandown form in here as well, isn't there? Uzo in particular, like I said, that Rebel Territory form did look good. I'm not sure he didn't run in the Hunt Cup. It was the Buckingham Palace, Tom. I'm not sure 7 furlongs on fast ground on completely the wrong part of the track, I thought would scupper him there. But he runs well. These Sandowns, your Yorks, these kind of big fields. Handicap seemed to suit him. So yeah, open contest this, Simon. Any extra places, any offers? What do you got?
We're going a 50 odds, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I didn't think. Listen, I don't want to run down a race. I thought last year's renewal was a stronger race with Magical Lagoon, Maidani, a slightly bigger field. Sinjari being favourite almost says it all. I mean, he hasn't won for 2 years, 9 runs, and he's £10 higher than his last winning mark. I know he's been running very consistently and knocking on the door, but still, you know, it's 11-4 seems a short price take against him. That said, 5 favourites have won this race in the last 10 years, a 50% strike rate for what is normally a competitive handicap. So that wouldn't discourage maybe people looking to back Sinjari. I thought it was worth looking for a bit of value. Check and Challenge rated very highly on that Newcastle run, then around the Guineas. How good is he? He could pop up and be brilliant, but off 108, I thought it was worth taking on. Escobar, I was looking at, because he always turns up. He's been second in this race twice. He was fourth last year. That said, he's not super well handicapped. And actually, funny enough, Trey Floor, I love looking at these horses. He was a proper group horse rated 115 at his peak. And I didn't realise, of course, he actually ran in this, dwelt at the start, raced wide, running off 97 last year, and he's £12 lower this year. So obviously, I missed that. Now, just seeing Tom make such a good case for it, that does interest me. So I think it's a great competitive race. I'd probably lazily stick with Escobar because I think he'll run well and probably get placed. But then, probably, is he going to win? I don't know.
There you go. Love it. Love the honesty.
But he'll be there at the death, I mean,
Yeah.
he'll be there, and he might win. It just doesn't look that good a race.
No,
I don't think it's. It's a terrible. I'm sorry, I hope no one from Sandown's watching it. I'm not sure this is the best renewal of this race for $100,000.
Yeah, I agree. Trey Floor in the first four for Devo, Uzo for Jonathan Sherritt, Lion Tower each way for Andy Sim, Check and Challenge for Genghis, and Devo says if you like Check and Challenge, check your head. So there you go. Fair enough. This is a race that doesn't particularly suit 3-year-olds traditionally, but hey, stats are there to be broken. Paul Keeley, you've backed Sinjari, but what's the value?
Backed Sinjari, I think Flying High could be a bit of each way value now.
Tom?
I'll have a few quid on Flying High and Trey Floor.
Okay. Simon, what?
Yeah, I mean, Escobar. I'll back Escobar each way because I like the opposite. And actually, Trey Floor. Tom's lit a fuse under that one, so I've missed the price, but I quite like that at a big price. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. And maybe User could pay for the drinks tomorrow at Sandown in that 2:25. Moving on to the 3 o'clock, we've got a listed race here for the 3-year-old fillies and a 5-4 shot in the shape of Heredia. Who just keeps on winning. Whenever you throw at her, she seems to take it in her stride. And there's been talk of her being a Group 1 filly. Well, she's going to have to be if she's going to have to win tomorrow. She's going to get to that level. She's 5-4 to beat Grand Dam at 7-2. Oscular 5-1. Fast Attack 6-1. Queen Aminatu is 12-1. Orion is 20s. Lyrical Lady 25s. And Loch Lundy 33-1 outsider of the lot. So 4 from 4. 2 is a 2-year-old. 2 is a 3-year-old, including last time out in the Sandringham at Ascot, where the perennial favourite backer Paul Keeley was all over her like a rash. But she's 5-4, and we were talking about the last race not being as hot a renewal. This is, you kind of split this in the middle, and you've got the 4 who've got the standard, and the 4 who are really
exactly. Well, I mean, I'm sort of just wins, move on, sort of in here. I just think she'll win. Yeah, I think she's got to change a gear.
Yes.
And it's going to be very potent up that hill at Sandown, whether there's pace or not. And I think that's it's going to win the race for her. I think she's comfortably got the best form on the Sandringham run. The way she came the time before, the way she came from the rear to win at York, having missed a kick and got in trouble, that was superb as well. I think Grand Dam's a little bit overrated on the form. I don't think she should be second favourite. I think Oscula should be. I think Oscula should have won the last 2. Definitely should have won of Epsom 2 starts ago, and one since. Although when you look at the race she won since, she was 15 or 8 to win that race last time, Oscula, and she was I think she was at least £9 better than everything else in the field, and getting weight off a couple of them as well. It was crazy.
But there's something about a horse with that profile where she's had so many runs.
You just assume that she hasn't trained on. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I mean, Epsom pretty much told everybody that she had, because she would have won that race if she was allowed to stride on. I think Fast Attack probably wants the ground a bit slower, and the rest have got absolutely chunks to find. They're rated in the 80s. One's rated lower than 80. So I don't think it's much of a race. I may have a little straight Heredia to beat Oscula.
Okay. Oscula is a 5-1 shot. Heredia 5-4. Yeah, like I said, you can draw a line through the field halfway through and have those who have set a standard and those who are stepping up. I did think potentially Queen Aminatu might make into a listed filly. Interesting that William Haggis, who's not a windmill tilting type, Tom, is going from being beaten in a handicap of 82 to going straight into this.
Yeah, he's not silly though, William Haggis, is he? He's probably noticed what Keel's just said. It's not a great race, and he can maybe pinch some black type there for Queen Animatu. I agree with Keels. I think Heredia's a different class, and I think Oscula's the danger. I think while we were debating whether there'd be pace in the last race, I can't see any reason why there won't be lots of pace here. Orion, Fast Attack, Oscula. There's a few of them that like to go forward. I think there'll be plenty of pace. I think Heredia will win, and I think Oscula's the danger. If she is a danger, I think she'll be second. Grand Dam has just been a bit disappointed. I was at Ascot when she won, and I thought she was going to make up into a really good filly, but I'm just a little bit disappointed with her the last time. She couldn't win at York, and that wouldn't have been as strong a race as this one.
Yeah, I would kind of say. I mean, obviously, there's been. You could print a book, couldn't you, on what's been written about Dettori and Gosden over the past week. But there was quite a lot of horses and rides that were brought into to question. I'm not saying Grand Dam was spectacularly misplaced, but there's some of them I thought she probably should have won that day, and it was asking a lot to get anywhere near Inspire last time out. I'm not saying,
but she didn't get anywhere near that.
No, she didn't. No,
you know what I mean.
But 10 lengths behind Inspire on that form was probably not too far off winning this, is it?
It's far enough as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
She's good already, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree.
She'll hold her own in better company than this.
I just think it's too. I do think it's too early to completely rule out how good Grand Dam is. We don't know yet.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. She's still got potential. She's only had 3 runs, hasn't she? But I just think on form, it's between Heredia and Oscuda myself.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just think she only made her debut in April, so she hasn't really had the chance to progress like the ones in the betting around her. Simon, what did you make of this fillies listed race?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you in the sense I think Heredia is very good. The day everybody was telling everyone who knew anything seemed to be saying Heredia was going to win at Royal Ascot, and she duly did. She was impressive. She beat a horse, Zambak, that Jim Crowley rode, who he thought would run well, but Heredia looked much the best. I think she's going to be hard to beat. I think Sandown, you saw all the favourites winning today. When the ground's good like it is, and it's probably on the far side of good, I think it is a great place for form horses, and she looks the form horse. But like you, Grand Dam, the one thing you say, you just don't know for sure, because obviously being thrown into Group 1 company, that wasn't just a Group 1 company, that was one of the best Coronation Stakes we've seen in years, and so, it's no disgrace to be beaten 10 lengths or something. So if there's going to be a horse to beat Heredia, I personally think it'll be Grand Dam. That said, to back Grand Dam, you're kind of guessing. So, I mean, I think at 11 to 10, she's being backed Heredia. If there's the same confidence behind her tomorrow that there was at Royal Ascot, you sort of think she'll probably win. So, and as I say, with the way the favourites winged in today, she might be one of the best short price bets on the card.
Okay. Yeah, I still.
Sorry, I have got an In the Know special. I better mention that, and it's a good one, I think. Because I think
we'll
she
see.
could hose
let Tom Keels be the judge of that, Simon. I think.
Well, she's 7-2 from 3, Heredia, to win by over 1.5 lengths, and I think there's a possibility she could absolutely. If Grand Dam isn't particularly special, then she could just win very easily. Only one favourite in 10 years. That's the only watch out. Only one favourite in 10 years.
Yeah, but what were those favourites, Simon?
I know.
Were they good favourites? Were they bad favourites? Were they false favourites?
It requires more research, Ross. Over to you.
That's just the one stat that always get. I love digging deep into stats, but the favourites over the last 10 years, it's like more. But what were they? That's the
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway,
what does it mean?
I've got more where they come from.
Yeah. No. Please, yeah. I love it. I'm starting to. I think I got statted out. I just got to the point where I'm like, what am I doing? I'm spending so long crunching through numbers just to find something interesting. Whereas, like Tom says, I probably should be watching the replays. Heredia, tell you more with your eyes. Heredia 5-4 then. Grand Dam 7-2. Keels?
Heredia.
Yeah? Okay. Tom?
Yeah, Heredia.
Okay.
Heredia.
Simon?
Heredia by more than 1.5 lengths.
Okay.
7-2.
And I think you're ruling out Grand Dam too early here. I think an RPR of 103 on your second start when you only made your debut in April is writing off too soon. Especially as Ryan Moore is riding out of his skin at every track he turns up at. So there's the Coral distaff. Let's see if anyone else at home has any strong selections. Racing Demon, big one for me. Queen Amanatu taking a chance at double figure odds, as is Tommy Orr. Genghis thinks Heredia might well go off odds on. That's about it. Heredia looks decent, but willing to take chance on Fast Attack and Queen Amanatu, says Devo. Let's move on to the feature then of the Saturday afternoon card at Sandown. It is, of course, the Coral Eclipse, and like I said, obviously we always want to see big fields and every possible runner turning up for a feature contest like this, but we do have a very tasty lineup indeed. Headed, of course, by that Prix du Jockey Club winner Verdani at 7-4. Native Trail is 3-1. Baybridge is 4s. Alan Kerr is 7-1 with Mishriff, and Lord North is 25-1. He's the only horse in this field who is not rated 120 plus, and a couple of starts ago he would have been rated 120 plus. And like I said, you have to go back a long way to find an Eclipse with such a strong lineup on figures, and also a strong lineup on figures where half the field could improve as well for their recent performances. But we've got plenty of questions here, Tom, plenty of intrigue. You've got the classic generation versus the older horses. You've got Native Trail, of course, stepping up in trip. Baybridge was all the rage at Ascot, and suddenly no one wants him here. It's a fascinating contest.
I want him. I don't know what's wrong with Baybridge. I thought there were doubts about the 3-year-olds, if truth be told. No race. I don't think I've ever seen a race go better for one horse than the French Derby did for Verdani. Now, he was really impressive and he quick and clear well, and you don't win classes by 5 lengths unless you're very good. But his stablemate, which was a much shorter price, was held up right out the back along with the other good horse, Ostino or something. The proper stayers right out the back and had no chance from wide draws. He had trap 1 or trap 2. The first 2 home were drawn 1 and 2. I just think this is a totally different kettle of fish. This is a much, much stronger race. If he can win this, he is a proper superstar. I think before the race, I don't think Jean-Claude Rouget thought he was a superstar. He didn't start as he wasn't priced up like a superstar. I think 7-4 is plenty short enough. Native Trail has obviously got a big question mark to answer over the trip. He looks like he'll get it, but I'm just not convinced by the 3-year-old milers this season. I thought Caribus was very, very lucky to win the St James's Palace. I thought his performance in the Irish 2,000 guineas wasn't brilliant. New Energy was looked like he might beat him a furlong out. Now he might improve for the step up in trip. I think they're taking on 4 absolutely top class older horses. Baybridge hasn't won a Group 1, but the other 3 have, and I just think it's going to be tough for them. I thought Alan Kerr might be the pace of the race. He might be at the tactical advantage. He obviously won the Sandown Classic trial here, beating Adayar, the Derby winner. I think he's slightly overpriced, but I just wonder whether the ground will be quite soft enough for him. I think he'd prefer softer ground myself. He'd obviously beat State of Rest last time. Mishriff, if he's back to his York form, I think he's a massive price. I just don't know where we stand with him after that run in Saudi, was it, or Dubai, one or the other. Lord North, I think, has got a bit to prove. So I thought Baybridge was the one. I didn't think he did anything wrong in Ascot. I thought Ryan Moore did a lot wrong. Well, I know you're saying Ryan Moore has been riding brilliant. I thought he gave Baybridge a shocker, if truth be told.
He learned, though, didn't he? He learned from that shocker on that round track later on in the week. He went, OK, I'm not making this mistake.
This was the big one, wasn't it? This was the Prince of Wales's, and he let State of Rest. I think the top speed figure was like 40 for a Grade 1 race. I mean, it was embarrassingly bad. He let Shane Cross rode them all to sleep. Baybridge, I think, did as well as he possibly could do to get with the length of him. I think it would have taken Frankel to get past him the way the race went. So I think he's got another chance. I think the better pace will suit here. We know he's got Sandown form. He looked brilliant when he beat Moster Daff, or whatever, that's how you pronounce it, here in the Brigadier Gerard. I think this has been his race all along. If he can bounce back from that, obviously had to do some sprinting for the last 3 furlongs there. If he's back to the form that saw him run so well here last time, I think he'll win Baybridge. I do. I think the 3-year-olds have got a lot to do to get past him, to beat him.
OK, Baybridge is a 4-1 shot. In terms of the poll, the viewers at home, who wins the Coral Eclipse? Native Trail. 41% of you think Native Trail. Verdani, 27%. Baybridge, 19%. And any other 12%. You'll be snapping up that 3-1 then. A couple of social comments. Matthew James, my nap of the day tomorrow is Native Trail. Maybe Matthew's voted 10 times for that. Bubba 1407, Baybridge is the most overrated horse in training. Well, I think that's a bit harsh. We'll give him a chance to show how good he is. But I think that's just a bit of recency bias for how crazy everyone went last time over at Ascot. But Verdani 7-4. I kind of agree and disagree with everything Tom said. I mean, I agree. I think But everyone went Baybridge's certainty last time out. One race that didn't go his way, and suddenly people are like, is he that good?
Yeah. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you might as well just rewind and just play exactly what Tom's just said and put my voice over it because it was perfect.
Okay.
It's exactly how I see it. The French Derby was a really, really weird race. I mean, for horses to dominate from the front, to be so far strung out by halfway, I think there were some very injudicious rides in that race. And yes, he's very good, but he's only beaten El Bodegon by 5 lengths. Now, he's a fair horse on soft ground, El Bodegon, but that's another thing he's got to deal with. He's got to deal with much faster ground at Sandown. Native Trail, I'm not convinced he's any better than he was at 2. I just think he keeps running to the same level. And
I mean, he was pretty good at 2, to be fair.
Yeah, he was. But I don't think he's improved. And I think a lot of the time you get these Guineas horses, they tend not to. A lot of the time they tend not to win past July anyway.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I have a feeling he's getting caught. I mean, okay, he doesn't need to get caught because he's running mostly against older horses anyway. But I think he's already reached his peak, and I think. Yes, it looks like he'll stay, but go and have a look and see how far 2 furlongs actually is.
Yeah.
And then, will he stay? He might not. He probably won't, actually. I think he won't.
Giant's Causeway was the last horse to win this, having not been tested at the trip. Yeah. So we're going back a while.
It's a fair while. Well, mind you, I mean, we don't, do we know how many tried?
There was quite a few, actually, yeah. I did have I'll find it. It's somewhere. I think it's 30-something.
Oh, right, yeah. So it's a fair amount. It's a fair amount. Yeah, but what prices were they?
Exactly. Yeah, fair enough. I've been hoisted by my own petard there. That's,
but I mean, the case with Baybridge, as Tom said, now, the top speed figure was 48. It was the worst top speed figure of the entire 35 races at Ascot by £16 and more. That tells you exactly what happened in the race. It was really slowly run. Shane Cross rode a lot of them to sleep. Every jockey's entitled to an off day, no matter what punters say. And all bar Shane Cross had one in that race. That simple. So, yes, I'd give him another chance. Now, I see the punter that came up and said Baybridge is the most overrated horse of all time. When he won the Brigadier Gerard Taxi, he slaughtered Mossadegh by 5 lengths. Mossadegh finished second in the Hardwick. 4th, being 11 lengths, was Dubai Future, who won the Wolferton by 3 lengths.
In a remarkable RPR. The figure for that was...
Exactly, yeah. So, you couldn't ask for him to stand up much better. And now he's back at Sandown, he's back with that uphill finish. We don't actually know where the pace is coming from. I wonder, to me, Baybridge looks a very, very straightforward horse.
Yeah.
I just wonder whether he'll try and make it himself on that.
Well, if that's the lesson that he's learned, because the lesson that Ryan learned when he then went on with Changing of the Guard and what else did he ride from the front on the round track?
Oh, I can't remember what for breakfast was.
It's a grapefruit. It's normally a grapefruit, right?
What was that, Tom?
You've worked for the Racing Post for 35 years. He's asking him to remember what a race. My God, the man's 65. Give him a break.
Fair. Broom. It was Broom, wasn't it?
Broom.
It was Broom.
Yeah.
Which we used to sweep your memory banks.
Let's see, he takes the bull by the horns. And what's the chances? He said to Aidan, "Look, you got no chance. Let me ride Baybridge. Send your 3 elsewhere."
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
That's what I think. I think that's a really good point. I think that's, I think we laugh about it, but I think that's a really interesting point because name a last time Aidan didn't have a runner in the Eclipse. I can't remember when he last didn't have it. He always has runners in Group 1s. I'm absolutely certain Ryan said, please, let me get my redemption in this race. Baybridge is, you know what I mean? Keep them away. I've got, because he would be claimed to ride one of the O'Brien horses, wouldn't he? And I think it would have been a big thing for Ryan to say, look, let me ride this. Let me get this horse out here because I want to show them how good he is. And I think he will. I think he'll show them how good he is tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I do agree with that. The only thing I will say is in terms of the 3-year-old form, we were talking about the Coribus, the horse that finished second last at Ascot behind Coribus have both gone on to win Group 3 enlisted contests in very good RPRs. The Acropolis, who was beaten out of sight behind Verdeni, was second to Wexford Native, who was beaten out of sight behind Coribus in that listed race in a good figure as well. So all the horses that have been heavily beaten in those 3-year-old races are coming out and winning. The Derby form was working out. I'm not entirely sure that... I think you are being a bit harsh on the 3-year-old form, but I do still think Bay Bridge is right for this race. You've also got Alenka, of course, who never runs a bad race over this trip in particular, and beat State of Rest last time out in a Group 1. So, Simon, it'd be nice to have every decent horse over 120 turn up who's raced for between a mile and a half in this contest. But, I mean, we could talk about this all night.
We could. Listen, I think it's a great race. I really do. I mean, a couple of things, actually. I did crunch the stats on that. Aidan O'Brien's only once before not had a runner in this race since Giant's Causeway won the race, and that was in Nathaniel's year that he didn't have a runner. So it's only the second time, really ever since he won it, which I think is interesting. I mean, we actually went out to Ballydon and interviewed him last week, me and David Stevens. Had the luxury of going and seeing St Mark's Basilica and Coolmore Amazing. Did some lovely content where he talked about how important the Coral Eclipse was to him as a trainer in terms of winning great Group 1s, but also to making stallions like St Mark's Basilica and Sadler's Wells, obviously many years ago. And then, of course, he doesn't have a runner, so it's great content, but it would have been nicer if we had an Aidan O'Brien runner.
He said, this is so important, Simon, but this year, no, not bothering.
Not today. But it's because, I mean, to refer back to your point, they don't believe they've got a horse good enough to run in it. And Stone Age is going for the Belmont Derby. I think the other horse, Akil's going to the Grand Prix to Paris. So, Grand Prix, yeah. And we're paying a fifth 1, 2, 3. James Knight, our traders, looked at the shape of the race and he decided to go 3 places the fifth, which is fantastic. I think that'll stimulate a reasonable amount of each way betting, given it's only a 6-runner contest, so that's good. And I must admit, we sponsored the Brigadier Gerard this year, and I know Jim Crow was really hopeful of Mostadap, and actually at the 2 pole was cantering, and I thought, and the run that Bay Bridge got from that point on, and then to be so dominant in the finish, just showed you. How good he is if the race is run to suit, and also how good he is at Sandown. I think that whole thing about the pace is a worry with 6 runners, like the guys have said. You halfway round, if they're going no pace, you would then maybe worry about Braybridge, obviously, and it might play into the hands of the likes of Native Trail. But that's what makes it a fascinating race. I would like Verdani to win, if only because I think of all the routes that horses take to come for this race, and there can be many, from the Classics, from Prince of Wales, from the Queen Anne. The French Derby was never a route until last year with St Mark's Basilica. He wins it. If Verdani came from now as a French-trained horse from the French Derby and wins a Coral Eclipse, suddenly you'd like to think that every year that becomes a possibility, and maybe you'll get French entries so that they don't have to supplement. So from a sponsor's point of view, I'd like Verdani maybe to win, to send him home with his tail between his legs, having stumped up the 50 grand. That'll probably ensure there'll never be another French-trained favourite for the race. But I'm kind of with the guys. I think Bay Bridge and Alenka are the two that leap off the page at me. I thought Alenka's win last time was great as well. So I could talk, as you say, we could talk about this race all day. But I'm just thrilled at the field and, hopeful we get a great race.
Oh, yeah, I think we will get a great race. And if you do see Aidan O'Brien again, say you would have had a horse in this, the perfect horse for this, but you retired him as a 3-year-old after winning it last year. So maybe that's... You can't have everything, can you? You can't have a stallion and turn up in the races next year with genuine chances. So, OK, the Coral Eclipse 2022. I think we're almost... Are we all going to agree on this? I think we might all agree on this.
Bay Bridge.
Bay Bridge. I think we might all agree on Bay Bridge, Tom.
Yeah, I think Bay Bridge is the one. I am very worried about Mishriff, though, because I think he's the best horse in the race myself. I thought he was brilliant at York last year. I just don't know what sort of form he's in.
Yeah, and he normally takes a couple of... It might well be that's the aim again, isn't it? Getting ready.
Yeah, it could be. But he was he was a proper French Derby winner, and he's got a good, very, very strong CV. So if he turned up on his A game, he'd be a danger. He really would be.
Okay, so that's 3 for Bay Bridge, which, to be fair, we all agreed with Bay Bridge at Royal Ascot, the way that got us. So, Simon?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Bay Bridge too. I thought if I can't bet with Coral, but if I could get the 3 places, I thought Alenka 3 places was probably the each way bet of the lot. I mean, Mishriff could easily win this.
Could we have we need a price boost as well, Simon? We've been told there's a price boost for the race.
I have got price boosts as well, yes. So the price boosts, 4-1 Bay Bridge from 100 to 30, £20 max bet, but listen, it's a much bigger price than available, and 7-2 Native Trail from 3-1. That's for the next couple of hours. I think they're holding those. And we have got some complicated ones, 2-1 from 13 to 8, an English-trained horse to win by over 1.5 lengths. So basically it's not Verdani. So any of the others to win by over 1.5 lengths. So anyway, there's enough there to be going with.
Yeah, price boost galore then for the big race then, but we're all with Baybridge. At home, Verdani will win this and then the Arc, said Jonathan Sherritt. Stakehead says Verdani will win this and the Champions Stakes, so he's having a good season so far, potentially, Verdani. Darren Walker's not sure about Native Trail. Alan Kerr for Racing Demon. And Native Trail by 2 lengths, says Will. Very specific indeed. Let's hope it lives up to the billing on paper tomorrow at 3:35. 3 more races on the card at Sandown to rattle through then after that feature contest. So let's see what we can pick out of the final 3. Starting off with this 10 furlong handicap. Chairman 7-2. Electrical Storm is 9-2. Al Dajjal is 11-2. 7-1 Forest Falcon. 15-2 Le Forban. 8-1 Protagonist. 11-1 Aquam. Sweet Reward is 14s and bigger prices. The rest, 15 of them run here for this Red Hot handicap. This looks tough on paper, but every time you look at a handicap and think, my God, this is a nightmare, you know that Paul Keeley's got something up his sleeve.
Well, you hope so, don't you? I mean, I like Chairman. I don't like Stall 15. I think that's a big ask round there. So I wanted something. I wanted something a bit lower. Electrical Storm won with an absolute ton in hand last time at York, off a long break. I mean, that's your worry. But if it hasn't. If it doesn't bounce, I think there's an awful lot more left in the locker for that one. So I thought he was the most likely winner. I thought Forest Falcon won the Settling Gold Cup with a bit in hand, but did get the run of it. Al Dajjal will be unlucky to run into a horse as well handicapped as V Sight last time, but he did get fairly thumped by him, and he's not guaranteed to get the extra furlong. So I come down to Electrical Storm, and Protagonist is the interesting one, having first run for William Haggis from Jesse Harrington. Not monstrously well handicapped on what he's done, but obviously Michael Buckley's moved him over. William Haggis could win with a stable cat at the moment, couldn't he? So keep an eye on some money for that one.
Okay, so what was the...
So it was the Electrical Storm in the end I came down.
Yeah. Okay, Electrical Storm then. It is currently at 9-2 for Saib Bin Suroor and Louis Stewart. He retains the ride after that victory at York last time out. But yeah, plenty in with the chance. Obviously, Chairman Electrical Storm we've mentioned. Forest Falcon did get the run of the race, but there's nothing necessary to say he won't get something similar here. I thought Le Forban was pretty impressive on the all-weather last time out as well. And I do like a Johnny Portman horse at a big price as well. Sweet Reward. There's a Yardoo who never get the credit they deserve in the market, Tom.
No, I get where you're coming from with him. I thought Al Dajjal actually had a good chance. I think he will get the trip. I thought he might enjoy the trip. As Keel says, I think V Sight, who was I think he's a brother to Scope, the unfortunate Scope, who was put down this week. But I think he's going to turn out to be he might end up winning something like the Melrose or something like that. I think he just bumped into a real good one there. So I think he's got a chance. A really funny one at a big price, Jeremiah.
I knew he was going to say that.
Yeah. First time for Alan King. I'm a big Alan King fan. He's a brilliant flat trainer and brilliant trainer all round. I just thought it was an interesting move. Goes well fresh, down a few pounds from where he used to be for Charlie Fellows, won some good races. I think he'd probably prefer 1.5 miles, truth be told. I thought he could go well at a funny price. Yeah, him.
Okay, there you go. Fair enough. That's Jeremiah then at a big price potentially for Alan King, who's having a very good week, and James Doyle, who's a very good booking. I see they put the blinkers back on him, which he wore when winning at Ascot for previous connections. But yeah, Chairman is 7-2 favourite here. Wide open contest here, Simon. I would imagine that if you do get turned over with those 3 places in the previous race, you're probably going to get it back in this, because this looks a toughie.
It does, yeah. We're paying 4 places instead of 3 here, so that's a 50 odds, 1, 2, 3, 4. And actually, in the last hour or so, some very interesting moves. Chairman's now out to 9-2, so it's now 9 to the field. Forest Falcon 5 from 7, so the money's come for him. Protagonist 11-2 from 8, but probably most interesting. Michael and David East to be coming down with Yorkshire Lady on debut. Has been back from 14-1 into 17-2, 8.5-1, and this is a horse who won a couple of handicaps back end. They went over for a listed race in France, finished 5th. Hasn't been seen since. But they're coming down here, and that kind of money clearly well fancied. So of the money, I'd say Yorkshire Lady is one probably to keep a very close eye on. I thought Electrical Storm, Saib Bin Suroor, his horse was running so well. Had another winner today with Passion and Glory. I think he could go in again. But No, competitive race.
Yeah, Yorkshire Lady, of course, who bolted up here last year, didn't she? Before going on to Haydock to beat Strawman, who's won plenty as well. So that form looks good. Red hot race, it looks like. Paul Keeley.
Yeah, Electrical Storm just about gets my vote.
Yeah, Electrical Storm it is for Keels. Tom?
Al Dajah, I think, is a solid one, really.
Okay, Al Dajah it is at 6-1. Simon?
Yeah, Electrical Storm for me, but those Shrewdies, the Easter Bees, if the money's come for Yorkshire Lady and they think it's ready, I'd probably maybe have a saver on him as well.
Yeah, and
or her as well.
I did have a couple of half fancies in this, but the more we talk about it, the more I think maybe this is one for a lie down. Al Dajah for Jonathan Sherratt at home. Chairman has won 2 really bad races, says Bubba. Wouldn't back him at any price. Al Dajah also for Tommy Orr for this red hot handicap. The penultimate 2 races. Penultimate 2 races. You can't have 2 penultimate races, can you? You can only have 1 penultimate race, and that is the 4:45 from Sandown, where we have a 3-year-old handicap here over just shy of 10 furlongs. And Picual is 9-4 favourite, or Picual. I Am the Sea 4-1, Forward Flight at 4-1, Land of Eagles at 6-1, Youthful King at 7s, Wolsey at 11s, Midnight Train at 16s, and Miss Down Under at 20s. 9 of them run here. This is the race I would normally go to Tom Siegel first. Do you have just in a sentence, do you have a strong opinion on this, Tom? Because I don't think Keels is going to take very long previewing this.
No, I'll help Keels out with his train catching. I don't have a clue what I thought. Right. Picual had an obvious chance after his win.
Well, I think I'm going to go to Keels then, because Keels is just going to. What wins Keels?
Yeah, Picual just wins. I think she should be as short as Heredia, to be honest. I was really impressed with that Nottingham run. She came from off the pace when there was no pace at all, when they quickened up in front of her, and to do that at Nottingham is not very easy. She only went up £4 for it. She was a bit clueless as well. She relished the hill. I thought she'd be a lot shorter. I think she'd take the world of beating.
Okay, and the third won by 4.5 lengths earlier on this evening, so that form looks pretty good. And the Dam is, I think, half sister to, or maybe even a full sister to New Bay, Tom. So, yeah, you know old New Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Your best bud.
Yeah. She's bred to be brilliant. Look, the only other thing is that William Agnes has got one in there. A See the Stars horse, I Am the Sea. Who knows how good he could be? I thought he should have won last time. So while he at the moment hasn't got Picual's form or potential, I think he's going to get there one day. And I think it's between the two, as the prices would suggest. That Stout and Haggis on a day like this, I think they'll just dominate those two.
Okay. Picual then 9-4. I Am the Sea is 4-1. Quick mention for a couple of others. Youthful King has run in 2 very good races around here, given strange rides. Were you looking at me like that? Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, okay, right, I get it, Keels. Yeah, I thought he'd have a little bit of a chance. And a yard switcher for Kevin Philippart de Foy, and it's always a cardinal sin to ignore them. So Wolsey might have a little bit of a chance in this penultimate handicap. There you go, Simon.
Yeah, Youthful King's been quite well backed in the last hour, 7-1 from 8, and Picual shortening 9-4 from 5-2. And you can see him going up a lot short of the way the favourites have won today. If they win tomorrow, I think this will be the sort of one they get behind. I just thought Forward Flight. I'm a big fan of Alan King on the flat, as the guys are. Only put up £2 for a cosy win at Yarmouth last time. Will love the ground. I thought Forward Flight maybe the value to beat the favourite.
Okay, Forward Flight is a 4-1 shot. But the 4:45 at Sandown, Paul Keeley is won by
Picual. I thought you were asking me about the net. I was just falling asleep then. I thought you were asking me about the following race. I was going to go charging in with the tip for the last.
Oh right, I thought the dramatic tension there for the penultimate race. You got me there.
I just worked out what you said to me, and then I had to decipher it all.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine, mate. You have a nap. The 4:45, Tom.
Yeah, I think Picual will win.
Okay, Simon.
Forward Flight for me.
Okay, and I'll also go with Picual for Sir Michael Stout, but just a little saver on Youthful King, because I think he would be shorter if he was trained by a more fashionable trainer. The 5:20 at Sandown is the final race of the day, and it is a sprint handicap, and we know we're all salivating about the analysis here from Mr. Siegel at home. Lovely Manor 7-2, Nelson Gay is 9-2, Mines are double 5s, Shamlar 11-2, Just Glamorous is 9s, King of Stars 10s, Live in the Moment 11s, Fantasy Master is 12s, and Bigger Prices the rest here. 5 furlongs, 11 runners at 5:20 tomorrow at Sandown. Tom, what is going to run and win in this tomorrow? Of course, it is one of those races where you think if they run it again next week, you might get a different result. The old classic, but what's going to be the result tomorrow?
That was a very slow introduction, Ross. I wonder why you did that. I thought that the top one, King of Stars, had a chance. I don't think he likes those downhill tracks, Epsom and Goodwood and places like that where he's been running at. I think fast ground, back up a hill, Claimer taking 5 off. I think he might dominate. I thought he had a chance. Yeah, I think he's quite a good horse on his Yarmouth form from last year where he beat that good horse, so I can't remember the name of by miles. I think he's well handicapped, King of Stars, with the Claimer taking 5 off, and I just think he might be too classy for those. So at a big price, I thought he'd go well. He'd be my choice.
Okay, King of Stars then down in grey, probably from the front. Keels?
Last April, Nelson Gay absolutely gagged up at Sandown by 6.5 lengths. He's come steadily down the weight since. He's got Ryan Moore on. He's only £4 higher now than he was then. Come down from 95 to 86. 2 starts ago, he shaped really well behind Mr. Wagyu at Epsom. I'll forgive him a 5-runner race at Windsor, Won't have suited. If he gets a good pace to go at, I think he'll win with Ryan Moore on board.
Okay, there you go. Nelson Gay for Richard Hughes and Ryan Moore. And I thought Shamlar was a little bit interesting. There's been quite a bit of cash with Shamlar. Gave £10 and a beating to Lovely Manor a couple of starts ago, and now gives £5 a Lovely Manor, and was earlier on a significantly bigger price. That Ascot form is very good, the Chester form is very good as well, so I thought Shamlar had a real big chance here for the aforementioned Kevin Phillip, Art Defoe and James Doyle. Simon Clare, any offers on the finale?
Yeah, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4 places. First, 1 to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 each way. Shamlar very well backed, 11-2 from 9s. Nelson Gay, 9-2 from 11-2. They're the 2 for money. King of Stars, I know the owner, they really fancied him to run well at Epsom. They just didn't want any rain. Some rain came. If you watch the race, he was really well drawn, but the jockey somehow got out of the good position he was in and got sort of trouble, and nothing went right for him. He's been dropped £5 and got the £5 Claimer on, so I think it's well worth a bet on a slightly more straightforward track from a reasonable draw in 6. So King of Stars for me. And I thought just the fact that 7 out of the last 10 winners of this were drawn 1 to 4. I mean, it does seem to suggest a low draw is preferable. And there have been no favourites in the last 10 years. That's interesting. But anyway, so yeah, there we go. King of Stars for me.
Well, what does that tell you? I don't know. Is one due in the finale at Sandown? Paul Keeley.
What did I tip? Nelson Gay, that was it. Yeah, sorry.
There you go. Paul Keeley's he's already at Sandown tomorrow mentally. Tom?
Yeah, I give King of Stars a shot from the front, I think.
Okay, I'll hope Shamlar upholds that form with the favourite at a bigger price. And Simon?
Yeah, I like King of the Stars a lot. King of Stars, not the Stars. King of Stars, definitely, each way.
Okay, took a couple of selections for Mines a double. Tommy Orr and Racing Team at home fancying the Clive Cox horse to bounce back. But we will finish our Sandown preview there then. But before we go, of course, we must give you the naps of the Saturday card from our panel of pundits. What is going to be the best bet at Sandown tomorrow, Paul Keeley?
I'm going to go Baybridge. I think he'll beat the 3-year-olds.
Okay, Baybridge in the big one. Tom Siegel.
I'll go for Al Dadger in that 1.5 mile quarter handicap. I think he'll get the trip, and I think he's got plenty more in hand to come. Okay,
Al Dadger it is. Simon, best bet for you?
Not original. I'm going to go Heredia. I think she will win the distaff. I think most of us agreed on that. Just a quick mention of some offers. Obviously, we are playing 3 places on the Coral Eclipse. Only the 6 runners. That's 5th, 1, 2, 3. And as always, we've got the beaten by a length special. So if your horse is beaten by less than a length, you get up to £10 back as a free bet, depending on your stake. And remember, if you take a price now, you will get best odds guaranteed. Lots of firms don't do that. And in the extra place races, you also get best odds guaranteed. Some firms don't do that either.
Okay. Thank you very much, Simon Clare. And thank you to Paul for leaving me Pickwell as the nap, because I could have sworn he was going to go for that one in the penultimate race tomorrow. Thank you to everyone for watching. This has been In the Know. We'll see you back for the King George, of course, at Ascot in a couple of weeks, which is statistically the best race of the season in terms of ratings, the best Group 1 of the year.
Oh, it's an absolute cracker. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, so we'll be back for that. And if you're at Sandown tomorrow, buy Keels a pint. Actually, buy me a pint as well. But
No, buy me a pint.
There you go. Mine's a double. Thank you, Tom Siegel. We'll speak to you very shortly.
Enjoyed it. Thanks very much. Have a good day, guys, tomorrow.
And goodbye to Simon Clare, who, of course, will be very excited indeed at Sandown tomorrow.
I will indeed, yes. Best race of the year. King George's got nothing on the Coral Eclipse.
There you go. Well, you should tell the European Pattern Committee that. But thank you for watching. This has been In the Know, brought to you by Racing Post and Coral. Have a good weekend.